So, hello again, everyone. Welcome back to fourth session for today, and we have Nalin Chandna, and Nalin is the CEO of the National Gas Company, and he will be talking today about the future of leadership, why good leaders make you feel safe. So, welcome, Nalin, and looking forward hearing your presentation. In case if you have any questions, you can write down in the chat box, or I'll send you the link to our LinkedIn group, and you can also ask the questions from Nalin over there and interact with other people. Okay, so Nalin, good luck to you with your session, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mansoora. Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. So we'll be talking about future of leadership and why good leaders make you feel safe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, depending on whichever time zone you are in at the moment. And I think that's the beauty about these online sessions, that you don't have to travel out, and you can still get to hear and see people doing all these sessions. I mean, it may be called a blessing in disguise. We normally have such sessions in person, but with the current COVID scenario, a lot of things have changed and technology has really taken over, though there is a lot of strain on the technology, on the bandwidth. But I'm glad to be here with you all. Wish we could have been together in person, but I think this is the best we can have in the current situation. So the topic is future of leadership, why good leaders make you feel safe. You could ask your questions in the chat box. If we have time, by the time we finish the presentation, we'll answer them right away. If not, I'll revert to each one of you and all your questions would be answered. Before we get on to leadership, I would just quickly touch upon what leadership is not in terms of the myths surrounding the leadership. So first one is, I can't lead if I'm not at the top. A lot of people say that I'm not at the top. I'm just a junior employee. I'm a middle level employee. So I cannot be a leader. So that's not true. Leadership is not about positions. At each position that you are in, if you're performing with excellence, if you're doing things the way people would like to follow you, the people would like to imitate you, or people will get influenced by you, I think you are a leader. It doesn't mean that you have to be a CEO or you have to be a board director or you have to be a senior manager to become a leader. The second myth that people have is, when I get to the top, I'll learn to lead. And because of the first mindset that I'm not at the top, so I can't lead, people don't upskill themselves. And they always feel that when I get to the top, I'll learn to lead. I'm not in a leadership position now, so no need to learn also. And as they say that when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. Because suddenly one day you have an opportunity, but if you're not prepared, the opportunity will just get slipped out of your hands. So you have to keep on learning, keep on developing yourself, keep on upskilling yourself to get to the leadership position, even if you're not there today. The third myth that people have is, if I were on top, then people would follow me. So people think that today nobody follows me because I'm not at the top. But we don't realize that people can follow us today also if we demonstrate the capabilities and the qualities of leaders, which not necessarily a position will bring. It is in us that those qualities we have to develop. The other myth that I want to talk about is, when I get to the top, I'll no longer be limited. A lot of people think of it as a privileged situation, as a power position, as a position of authority. That, okay, today I'm asked so many questions. When I get to the top, I'll no longer be limited. I'll do things my own way, my way or highway. So that is another myth of leadership. Today's times, leadership is very different from leadership 20 years ago or 30 years ago or 50 years ago. The other myth that people have is, I can't reach my potential if I'm not the top leader. Again, so people feel that I'm not achieving my potential. I've got so much potential inside of me, but I'm not able to become successful. I'm not reaching my potential because I'm not the top leader. So this is again a myth. So from this, we move on to what is leadership then. If you see on the screen, simply putting the word leadership on google.com, in less than a second, in 0.57 seconds, you get some 3.1 billion results. That's the kind of material available on leadership on the internet. So leadership is a phenomena. Leadership is not something new. Leadership has been all along. Only the forms of leadership have evolved over a period of time. They have transformed to what we see leaders today. Leadership is all about influence. If you are able to exert influence on someone, you are a leader, irrespective of the position. If you're sitting in a meeting room and you are talking and 10 people are listening to you, that means you have influence on them. You are a leader, irrespective of what your position in the company is. If you've got ideas, if people want to imitate you, if people want to work in the style that you have, then you are a leader. So leadership is all about influence. And I think this is the shortest definition of leadership that you'll find. Leadership is all about influence, nothing more, nothing less. The next slide I am on is quick question which I asked at each of my conferences: are leaders born? So some people say yes, some people say no. Actually, yes and no are both right answers. I have not seen an unborn leader. All the leaders have to take birth, have to be born. So leaders are born. But why no? Because it is not necessary to be born as a leader. You can always acquire those capabilities. You can always become a leader subsequently. And leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. Let's say if you're in a job or you have your own business, and let's say your leadership ability is on a scale of 1 to 10 at 5. So when you are at 5, your business success or your job success will be a 3 or a 4. It will not go further than 5 because your leadership ability is the lid. And if you increase your leadership capabilities, you, let's say, go on from 5 to a 6 to a 7 to an 8, then your success in your business, in your job, will also go to a 6 and a 7 and an 8. So your leadership ability actually determines your effectiveness, whether you are in a job, whether you are in a business, whatever you are doing. Yeah. So why is leadership so important? Leadership is important because everything rises and falls on leadership. If you see stories of countries, if you see stories of companies, the difference between success and failure is the leaders. Wherever the leadership has taken charge and acted proactively, acted in a way which is what should I say, in favor of their employees, in favor of people, empowering people, developing people, those countries, those companies, those organizations have developed. So that's why they say leadership is so important, because everything rises and falls on leadership. Leaders demonstrate a quality of character. We'll talk about character in a bit more in details. But true leadership always begins with the inner person, how you are from inside. Relationships. The deeper the relationships, stronger the leadership potential. So, what kind of relationships you build, what kind of rapport you have with people, how you interact with people, what kind of feelings you demonstrate with people, how people look at you, how people get inspired by you. So, what kind of relationships you develop. Knowledge, obviously, knowledge alone won't make you a leader, but without it, no one has become one. So, whatever field you are in, you are expected to have the knowledge of that field to become a leader. Leaders are intuitive, they recognize and influence intangibles. They are visionaries, they can see what is coming. They, even if they can't see what is coming, at least when things come in, they have proactive ideas on handling situations. So they have to be intuitive. And of course, experience. You learn from your past challenges, and your greater your past challenges are, there are more chances that you are likely to lead. So, so these are the kind of few attributes of leaders. And it is very important to note that leadership develops daily, not in a day. We go on leadership conferences, we attend seminars of 3 days, 5 days, 1 week, 1 month, and we believe that, oh, I haven't attended a Harvard University course for 7 days, I'm a stronger leader now. When I come back to the company, I should be elevated to the CEO's position. And if they're not doing that, what is the situation? And you get frustrated. But we need to understand that whatever we do, we have to go through the process. We have to climb the ladder, and it's a long, tall building to climb up to. So leadership develops daily, not in a day. We should always remember that. Talking about good leaders, and we all want to be good leaders. So there are certain things which good leaders do, and which if we start doing in our lives, we can become good leaders as well, whatever positions we are in at the moment. True leaders avoid positional thinking. So if I think that I am a chair of authority, so whatever I say, people should obey me, people should listen to me, whatever I say to people, people should do that. That is not what true leaders do, not what good leaders do today. Position is not important. If any of you have read the book by Robin Sharma, The Leader Who Had No Title, this is all about that. We should not be focused on our positions. We should be focused on our tasks. We should be focused on doing things in an exemplary way that people want to follow us. Good leaders remember that they are in people business. We are not dealing with machines, we are dealing with human beings. So we have to act in that way. We have to demonstrate the qualities of empathy. We should demonstrate the qualities of politeness, love, compassion, right? True leaders or good leaders don't feel lonely at the top because they believe in the philosophy of developing people, empowering their people. They take their people along. That's what good leaders are. And good leaders add value to others. They are not selfish only to add value to themselves. Definitely, they have to add value to themselves. Only then they are able to add value to others. But a lot of people just add value to themselves and don't add value to their people, which is not what the attributes of a good leader are. If you see on the screen, there is this flight stewardess. We've all traveled on airplanes, and we are not traveling these days. Everything is grounded, but we definitely have. And when you are about to take off, there's a security announcement on the airplane, and the air hostess comes in and demonstrates the use of the oxygen mask and the safety jacket and all that. And she says clearly, before helping others, please put on your mask first. Please put on your jacket first. It may sound to be selfish, but it is actually very true that if you are not able to help yourself, you'll not be able to help others. If you don't have the right qualities in yourself, you're not able to pass on those qualities to your people. You'll not be able to develop your people. You'll not be able to add value to others, because we can only add value to others. We can talk about it in the media, on social platforms, on public platforms, that, oh, I love my people. I want to, I thank my people because that's what my reason of success is. But if inside my heart, if I don't value others, if I don't truly value others, then I will not add value to others. Then everything is just chit chat and talk. So we have to demonstrate that we really value people. When we move into a position of authority, we give up the right to abuse people, because that displays our arrogance, that demonstrates our ego. We have to value others if we really want people to follow us. Because if we force people to follow us, they will only follow us till the time they're not able to find another job or another position. Until they have their own situation compelling them to work for you, they'll work for you. But on the first available opportunity, they'll just move away. So to truly lead people, we have to add value to others. And as I said, if we are passing on love, compassion, politeness to people, we make ourselves more valuable to others. But if all we have in our toolbox is a hammer, then everything looks like a nail. If we hate people, if we are jealous of people, if we are angry at people, that's the energy we emit to our people. And that's what people are going to learn, and that's what is going to come back to you. Another important thing that good leaders realize is that people quit people and not companies. If that was not true, why would people still leave organizations like Apple, Google, Microsoft? All are big organizations, all are very successful organizations, very famous organizations, very well known for employee welfare. But still, people leave those organizations because people quit people and not companies. Because people will follow a leader only if they want to follow. The incentive of a paycheck they are getting, as I said, will fail to outweigh the discomfort of working for a bad boss. They will only work for you until they've not found another better job, or essentially saying another better manager. People quit people who devalue them. If I, without taking names, in one of my earlier jobs, one of my bosses, he used to call for a meeting, and then we were sitting there at the table, and he's busy with his checking his emails on this phone notifications. Which the message that he used to pass on is that you people are not important for me. These notifications are more important for me. And I know that all the people that we were working together in his team, all of us has moved out because people need respect. People are happy getting valued. We all are human beings. We all want to be valued. So people will quit people who will devalue them. People will quit people who are untrustworthy. You say something and then do something, people will lose trust. People quit people who are incompetent. You make a presentation, you send it to your boss sends it further to his bosses and takes away your name from the bottom and puts his name. How would you feel? Because he doesn't want to give you credit. He himself is incompetent, he's insecure. So people will not stay with people who are devaluing others, who are untrustworthy, who are incompetent, who are insecure. So good leaders don't have such qualities. So if we have to be a leader worth following, we should take responsibility for our relationships. We are the ones who are going to inculcate all these relationships, which are going to help us grow in our career, which will help our people to grow in their careers. Good leaders conduct exit interviews to take feedback whether they were the cause of the person leaving the organization. And if they are, they try to change their habits, they try to change their way of working, they change their style to not commit the same mistakes in the future. The leaders worth following value people who work for them. They prioritize credibility. If somebody has done work, they are ready to give credit to others, because we are all born to do our own work, not to take away the credibility of others. If we are doing that, it's not the right leadership trait. Leaders maintain positive emotional health. There can be a lot of stress when you are at a leadership position, when you are leading people. So you have to have a positive emotional health. You have to reflect back on what is happening. We'll come to reflection a little bit more. Leaders maintain a teachable spirit. They don't say that I have arrived. Now I've become the CEO, I've become the chairman, I've become the director, I've become the senior manager of the company. I have arrived. No, they always maintain a teachable spirit. They are always ready to learn. They're always ready to improve on what they are today so that they can be a better person tomorrow. Good leaders have a very good quality of nurturing others, empowering others, because nurturing has the ability to transform people's lives. If you are investing your time, your effort in others, they will realize that and they will become good people. They will be loyal employees to you. But there are a lot of barriers to nurturing people. One of them is they don't stay where we put them. There's a story about these two friends. They pass out of college, and then they both work at a church. They're pastors at a church. One of them gets transferred to another location, and they meet after 20 years. So when the person who had been transferred out, he comes and meets his friend. He says that, how's the church going on? He said, I left the pastor's job. I am a funeral director now. He said, why did you do that? You were in such a good kind of a profession. So he said, because people are people and I can't handle. And I only have to handle dead bodies, and I'm a funeral director because they don't move. They stay there where I put them. So jokes apart, but this is what it is. There are a lot of people can't accept their people coming up, their people getting better equipped to do jobs. Second barrier is we underestimate people. We feel that, oh no, my team is not able to do that, so I can't delegate. I can't let them do it. I underestimate them. Sometimes we enjoy doing the work ourselves, or we have got the habit of doing the task ourselves, so we don't delegate. Again, this may not be deliberate, but sometimes we just are so much attuned to doing our things ourselves. We just want to hold everything with us. We receive ego strength from being needed, but we don't realize that the day we are not there, nobody is going to even remember. The day we die, people will come back from the funeral and would be looking at the feast. Where's the dessert? Where are the salads? So we should let this ego strength go away from us. The other barrier is we want to keep control of things. We want to keep control. We are so insecure that we don't want to let go anything. We don't notice the potential that people have. So what we can do is we can buy a man's time. We can buy his physical presence at a given place. We can even buy a measured number of his skilled muscular motions per hour. But we cannot buy enthusiasm. We cannot buy loyalty. We cannot buy the devotion of hearts, minds, or soul. This is going to come only when we become good leaders. Because good leaders earn these. These are non monetary things. You cannot pay someone and earn that. Respect has to be earned. And respect is a two-way street. You give respect, you earn respect. If you give hatred, jealousy, anger, that's what you're going to get. You cannot expect your people to respect you if you're not ready to respect them. The other thing good leaders do is they are tour guides and not travel agents. Travel agents, what they do is they would just book your ticket sitting on their chair in the office and hand over the tickets to you, book your hotel, and just send you off. The tour guide goes along with you, shows the way. That's what good leaders are. They work with their teams, they participate in the teams. They don't just give out orders, they don't give out instructions. To be a leader, you must have followers. And to have followers, you must earn their confidence. And confidence is only earned when people trust you. And you have got the quality of integrity. Because trust is the glue that holds people together. And integrity is a top quality that people want in their leaders. In various surveys you can check on the internet, wherever, integrity is the top quality that CEOs want when they hire people. Because talent is a gift, but character is a choice. You may be a very talented person, you may be qualified, you may have 10 professional degrees with you. But if you're not a man or a woman of character, your career will not last long. Your career will not go to the heights that it can go if you have the pillar of character with you. And character is a choice. We make this choice day in, day out. Character traits, good or bad, are revealed in a crisis. If I would urge you to just recall the name of your best friend, let's say, and that friend is a best friend to you because that person has been always helpful to you, trustworthy. That's why you call him or her a best friend. If that person was not helpful, would have ditched you always, was not worth your trust, would you call that person a best friend? No. So only good character traits make you a good person or a bad person. And these traits are our insurance to face difficult times in the future. We are passing through difficult times today. Character will help us anchor out of the storm. And not only this storm, in all the future dilemmas of your life. You see an image of deflated balloons on your screen. Are these deflated balloons any good? Balloons, when inflated, and used as decoration in parties. They make the party hall look so lively, the party room so lively. But a deflated balloon is no good. When you inflate them, they become objects of decoration. So, what has changed in a deflated balloon and an inflated balloon? The air inside. The inside of the balloon determines what the outside looks like. And that is so true of our character. We should always endeavor to be good inside before being good outside. We can buy the most luxurious brands. We can do whatever we can on our bodies, beautify ourselves. But if we are not of a true character, we won't be good people. We won't be good leaders. We won't be good human beings. What is on the inside of us determines what we become on the outside. And what is the meaning of being bigger on the inside? Being bigger on the inside means that your character is greater than your reputation. Reputation is what people see. It may be true or it may be wrong, but character is your true self. And if your character is strong, you should not be bothered with your reputation. It will take care of itself. But if your character is wrong, then you would always endeavor to put patches here and there so that people don't understand your real character. Your reputation would always be at risk. Being bigger on the inside also means your walk speaks louder than your talk. What you are saying, you are doing also. It's not just plain talk. Your attitude is better than your circumstances. Come what may, you are true to your moral values. You're true to your principles. You do what you ought to do versus what you want to do. So, what you should be doing should always be on the top of your mind rather than you want to. Because want to would take you here and there. It will divert you from your path to your vision, mission, and goals. So at each stage in life, every day we face with this choice of doing right or wrong. And right for someone may not be the real right. Let's say a robber who's planning a robbery. He's thinking right for himself. That if I do it this way, if I execute my plan in step one, step two, step three this way, I'll be successful in taking this loot. But that's not right thinking. So right and wrong is very, very important. And we need to be accountable for our actions. We cannot put a blame on my father, my parents, my situation, my spouse, my children, the traffic, the government, the economy. We have to be accountable for each moment, every thought, every act of ours. This is a story about this brand Tylenol. In 1982, an unknown criminal had laced this over the counter drug with cyanide and had put it on the supermarket, and few people had died. I think 7 people died in Chicago. There's a story of 1982 where Tylenol used to have a 35% market share in the out over the counter drugs category for this particular uh, chemical composition. Once this happened, the company recalled all stocks from the market. And the president of the company had actually had a discussion with all the senior management a few days earlier that whatever happens, we would always stick to our moral values, to our ethics, to the code of conduct of the company. Since they were very clear, it was very easy for them to take a decision that even if 7 people have died, they had withdrawn all stocks globally of that medicine from the markets. In 1 month's time, their market share had dipped from 35% to 8%. But since the company was not bothered about the loss of millions, but was more concerned with ethics and loss of lives, preventing any loss of lives, within a year's time, they got back to almost the same year. They regained their market share almost fully. So it is very important that leaders have to act in an ethical way, right? Because it is always easy to do right when you know ahead of time what you stand for. Because when a dilemma comes, when a tough situation comes, if you start thinking then your subconscious mind, then the devil in your minds will always prompt you to take the easy way out. But if you're clear in the beginning that what is the right way. Irrespective of the situation, you will follow the right path. The other thing that is done very well by good leaders is communication. We all communicate every day. We send like 200, 300 emails every day, 500 WhatsApp messages, leave apart the messages on our social media. So communication has become just free these days. But what is important when we talk about communication is the right communication is only when you are connecting with people. It's not a one way message. When you understand people, when you put other people's perspective, when you connect with them, that is where the right communication is. And that's what good leaders do. In fact, people ask me at various conferences that what is the single most important skill that they would learn or they should learn to become successful in life. I said, you should learn to communicate and communicate to connect. Good leaders simplify the message. Plain, simple language. Don't get into complex words, complicated grammatical vocabularies. See the person. Talk to the person. Get down to the level of the person you're speaking to. Show the truth. Be transparent always. Don't fudge the facts. Whatever is true, that is true. Because if you speak the truth, you never have this fear of hiding the truth or making up excuses. And seek a response from others. Always be participative. Take feedback positively. Don't just impose your point of view on others. The other thing that good leaders do is they are good listeners. This is a very important trait of leaders. One of the greatest gifts you can give anyone is the gift of attention. Because we are so busy these days, we're just running around that we just speak our words and we are not ready to listen what the others have to say. So this is one thing which leaders develop, and good leaders all have these kind of a quality that they give the gift of attention to others. They are good listeners. We understand the good leaders understand people. They are sensitive towards the desires, dreams, aspirations of people. Yeah. And they learn how to touch a heart before they ask for a hand. There are three delusions of an average person. I'm a good driver, I have a good sense of humor, and I'm a good listener. I'll tell you a short story here. There are two friends who are going through a jungle, and one of them just slips and falls down. The other person gets scared and kind of shakes him up, but he feels that, he's not responding. So he calls up the emergency helpline and says, "Looks like my friend is dead. I need help here." So the lady at the other end of the customer service says that, let's first make sure whether your friend is dead. So then she's saying hello, hello, and the person goes offline. And then she hears two gunshots from the other side. She's scared, and then the person comes back on the phone, and he says that, yeah, now I made sure that he's dead, because he was not ready to listen. So we're not good listeners. So we have to listen to what others are saying. We are always in a rush of doing our things. What we want, we just want to kind of convey and move forward. Obviously, good leaders are competent. Competence goes beyond words. They show up every day, irrespective of the mood, irrespective of the situation. They show up every day on time. They keep improving. They've got a learner's attitude I talked about. They accomplish more than expected. So KPIs are just KPIs, but good leaders are always thinking beyond that, how they can add value more than what they're expected to. They inspire others and they follow through with excellence. Quality is something which they don't take for a compromise. The other thing that good leaders do is they constantly stay within their strength zone, but continually move outside their comfort zones. And how do they do that? Is by utilizing their time in the best possible manner. Because we all realize time is the most precious commodity on earth. Whether we are a prime minister, whether we are president, whether we are the CEO of an organization, a chairman of a company, senior manager, middle manager, junior employee, or a business owner, The time is something which is fair to all. We all have been given a gift of 24 hours, which are given to us each day. We cannot take something in advance, nor we can lend out to future. So time is the most precious commodity on earth, and good leaders who are the difference makers are doers and not dreamers. They utilize their time very well. They control their schedules rather than their schedule controlling them. And I'm sure all of you would have heard about Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, where it was a principle coined by Wilfredo Pareto, who said that 20% of input actually gives you 80% of output. 20% of our time produces 80% of our results. 20% of the people will take up 80% of our time. 20% of the products will bring 80% of profits. 20% of the people will make 80% of the decisions. 20% of our work gives 80% satisfaction, and 20% of the people pay 80% of the taxes. Now, I don't know how this came about, but if you analyze, it is generally true across organizations. Even in my company, I would say that one particular product segment gives me 80% of the margin, but that only sells 20% of compared to the other items. So that is generally true in our lives, maybe plus minus 5%, 10% here and there. But largely what Pareto principle says is that there are certain activities in your lifestyle that if you do them well, they might not take that much time, but they are going to bring outstanding results. So that's what Pareto principle is. And I think it is, as managers, as leaders in the organization, it is very, very important. Time is limited and there are so many things to be done. So we have to do things in a way that we are able to accomplish all the tasks. The other thing the good leaders are good at doing is they also have a not to do list, not necessarily a list to be written down, but they are clear that there are certain activities they are not going to do because those are time wasters. Those are not adding value to their career. Those are not adding value to their organization. Those are not adding value to their people. That is not aligned to the vision that they are bound to achieve. So it is very important to know what is your to do list and what is your not to do list. So what good leaders do is they determine that they are not to do everything because there's not enough time. You have to focus on things which really you can do and you must do. They are not to know everything. I don't have to know everything. I mean, I used to watch TV for 2 hours every evening. I have stopped watching TV altogether. And that has given me so much time at hand to do the things that I should be doing and that I love doing. So we have to analyze what we have to do, what we should know. We need to know who fills our calendar. If we keep it open for everybody, then people will just come and block the calendar. If we don't think for ourselves, others will. And you know what? They will not do anything for us. They will only fill in their priorities, their goals, their tasks. We have to be a hero in our own story or a heroine in our own story. We don't have to be supporting actors in somebody else's movie. We need to decide we are not to be on each and every email. And then what good leaders do is very important. They don't miss on reflection time. Every evening, spend 10-15 minutes on how the day went. What is planned for your day tomorrow? Every weekend, spend an hour, hour and a half with yourself, without your phone, without any disturbance. See how your week went by. What is planned for your week? What is planned for the next quarter, next month? What are your long-term goals? Have at least one activity or one subtask from your goals, each of your goals, to be done in the coming week. At least one activity so that you are moving forward with your goals, whether it is your personal goal, your official goal, your enrichment goal, your spiritual goal, whatever it is. Because life has to be looked at holistically. If we just look at one parameter, the life will go out of balance. So, if I would to tell you one important thing today. You must spend time reflecting. That is one most important advice that I would give you today. And as a leader, the first person I have to lead is me. I may have 500 people under me. But if I am not following what I'm preaching or what I am supposed to do or what I'm expecting from my people, then there's no point. Then it's just plain simple talk. Because we have to hold ourselves to higher standards than others do. People expect 100 from us. We have to deliver 105, 110, 150, 200. And most people don't fail on account of the competition. We just get complacent. We start believing that we have arrived. I've got a position. I am the chairman. I am the director. I am the CEO. And I stop learning. I stop improving. So that is one major reason of people failing. So the toughest person to lead is always yourself because we don't see our blind spots. And if we are not ready to take criticism from people, then we will not be able to develop ourselves. We'll not be the good leader that we should be. So we need to develop self discipline. We should be accountable. We should take feedback from people. We should learn followership, what following is about. Only then we'll be able to understand what our followers feel. And we need to have patience because we are dealing with people and people are all different. All leaders face make or break moments, but these are the situations that distinguish themselves as influencers or they remain seated with the crowd. This is where the differentiator comes in. And these moments test the character of leaders. So if I were to leave you today, there are few things that I would want you to reflect upon. How do you deal with intense stress and pressure on the job or if you're in business? What qualities you feel make a leader strong and effective in the midst of a crisis? I mean, there could be qualities like obviously your communication skills, your competence, your focus on the task, on the vision, empowering people, taking initiative, taking responsibility, not blaming others, having a positive attitude. And what activities can strengthen your character? Think about those. Spend some time reflecting. What are things that you yourself know, but your conscience knows that you are not doing right? Are you ready to stand up and say to yourself that I'm going to improve from now? I am going to change this lifestyle. I am going to be a better person. I will develop skills of a good leader so that I can lead my people well during defining moments. Because leaders must get people excited about something they've never seen before, something that does not yet exist. If you look at organizations like Apple, when Steve Jobs started, the people that he employed at that time, those people never had a clue that where they're heading to. But Steve Jobs had that vision. So the real leaders are those who take the people to places where people have not imagined themselves. Thank you very much. I'm open for questions. And if you want to reach out to me, my website is there on the screen. You can reach out, you can submit a query there, or you can reach out to me through my social media handles as well. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Hello, Nalin again. Thank you for your presentation. I see that there's someone typing a question, but maybe I'll ask you a quick question first.
Yes, Matsura.
Have 5 minutes for a question and answer session. So when I was listening to you, I've been thinking about, these days it's a little bit difficult. So how would you suggest for the leaders to get inspired? So you were saying that, this analogy that you brought up about the plane, how in case of anything, you should take
Mhm.
care of yourself first and then others. So in these times when people are very, very limited on getting inspired, so what are the ways you would suggest people for leaders to get inspired and share this inspiration with others?
Yes, I think leaders, one thing what I would strongly suggest is that the leaders should remain connected with their people. Half of the world is in home confinement and people are working from home at the moment. So, and even the best of the employees are feeling ignored at the moment. So I think it's very important for the leaders to be connected with them, at least through video calls, or if they can, to meet up every now and then, every week, 2 weeks, whatever is possible, depending on the situation in the respective country. But I think to remain in touch with people, to keep on motivating them, to take stock of the situation and keep on steering the situation in terms of how the work is being performed, because it is an unprecedented time. People have not seen such situation before. So I
Hmm.
think there is a lot of confusion in the minds of people. Just plain simply talking to your employees without a set agenda every week for 5 minutes will also give them a big boost.
Hmm. Okay, thank you. So there's a question from Ravi. How
Yeah.
can leaders effectively communicate job cuts and people cuts in these difficult times?
Okay. Yeah. I think this is a very important thing that is happening across the world. And whatever we say, but it is a hard reality. Some organizations are able to organize absorb these kind of difficult situations, but some are not able to. Leaders have got the responsibility of doing all the difficult communications as well. Leaders should also look at innovative possibilities of, rather than kind of let's say removing people from jobs on a permanent basis, if there is a possibility of kind of having employees to surrender a few days salary, and taking everybody along, again addressing the employees, and explaining them the situation, that this is a situation that we are all in, and it would be wrong to say that we are all in the same boat. We are actually in the same storm. So it is important to tell people that we are in the same storm, we are in a difficult situation, and take people along, that rather few people lose their jobs. Let's come together and let's try and come out and devise a solution that everybody sacrifices a bit, but end of the day, we are able to save people's jobs.
Hmm. Thank you. So I guess we have a one more time for one more question, and Martina is asking if a manager is doing literally everything in the way you recommended not to do, is there a way for the team to make him aware of it and maybe change his autocratic style?
Yeah. So I think it would be a bit too harsh if you just go and point out a problem to someone. But I think if you are doing your work in the right way, eventually it is going to get noticed. But again, people quit people and not companies. So if your manager does not have a teachable spirit, then it is a bit difficult. But I think if you are doing your work properly and you are continuously demonstrating your style, it will definitely get noticed.
Hmm. Okay. So thank you, Nalin. Thank you for your time. Thank you for a wonderful
Yeah,
presentation.
yeah. And I think I'm happy to answer any further questions. They can either reach out to the LinkedIn group, which Mansoora has shared with you all. Otherwise, you can reach out to me through my website or my social media. I'll be happy to address your queries.
Yes, feel free to write any questions on the LinkedIn group. It was created to connect, to discuss, and to share your opinions. Thank you. Thank you, Nalin. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
And wish you good luck. It was a great presentation. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, bye.
Yeah, thank you.